A new problem plagued the Lutzes. The son of the previous owners had shot 6 members of his family while they slept in this very house. George and Kathy now were experiencing vivid nightmares in which they relived the murders as though they were the victims. Difficult as it was, the family tried to maintain a normal existence. But each day, something else, strange and frightening, would be discovered.
One particular afternoon, I was going about the house rearranging furniture and setting up some storage. I went down to the basement, I went over to one bookcase, which was on the end, and I moved it. And much to my surprise, there was no wall behind it. It was the entrance into this small, brightly painted red room. And I was really surprised and alarmed by the find.
The most impressive thing was when we took Harry around. He would not go anywhere near it. He backed right out of there and ran up the steps.
This red room was not in the original house plans. Why? Who built it? And what possible use could it have?
To this day, these questions have never been answered. George and Kathy could only wonder about the ominous little room. It was just one more aspect of the house they didn't understand.
Silent night.
Even the normal rooms caused strange reactions.
Missy would sing constantly within the room. And if you called her out, or if she came out for one reason or another, as soon as she crossed over the threshold, she would stop singing. Crossing back again, she would pick up the song from the word that she had stopped on and continue.
Missy boasted of her new playmate, someone or something named Jody. Jody, said Missy, could take any shape, a doll, a teddy bear, even a pig. And Jody could only be seen by whomever he chose, and he had remained invisible to Kathy and George. Missy even drew Jody in crayons. George and Kathy were amused at their daughter's fantasy, thankful that the terrifying events had not yet touched her. Their amusement faded quickly into horrid fear when Jody made his presence known to them.
Missy told us later that her friend Jody could not be actually seen by anyone unless it wanted them to. And that at times it was a little bigger than a teddy bear, and other times it would be bigger than the house. Jody had the ability to change its size. One night coming back, I looked up in Missy's room, and there was a shape in her room that I don't know what it actually was, and I was coming back from the garage one night. But I would go out to the boathouse for no reason, check everything out, and then go back. I'd do that a couple times a night. The reason I mention that is because our behavior changed, the way we would go about living. I would go from the fireplace to the boathouse constantly.
No longer did George and Kathy feel they were alone. The Lutzes felt driven to rid their home of the evil intruder. They decided to re-bless each room themselves.
Will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
That's when things really got bad. We tried to kick out what was there, and it didn't want to go. You go around, you open a window in each room, and you say the Lord's Prayer, and you command it to get out of that room, and you go on to the next room. It didn't want us to go around blessing each room and commanding it to leave. In the name of God, we would go around and do that. And when I finished the first time, we heard a chorus of voices scream out, "Will you please stop what you're doing?" So that convinced us that what we had tried to do didn't work. And things got very bad that night.
We had gone to bed that night and went into a very deep sleep. George woke me, and he had backed up from me, and I couldn't understand the repulsion in his face. And when I looked up, I saw what caused him to back away, and that was my reflection in the mirror. My hair had turned color. There was no true color. It was a gray-white. My face was severely wrinkled, deep impressions coming down across the forehead. My mouth was very tight, very drawn. And the feelings that were going on were confusion, illness, just trying to grasp hold of me, you know.
By morning, her frightening appearance had vanished. George continued to be obsessed with fire. He would stare endlessly into the flames. Slowly, the chill gripped his very soul. The searing heat was etching a demonic face into the fireplace. It was staring out at him through the flames. What would happen next?